Have you ever pondered the dangers that come with being a president, especially the President of the United States? The seat of power, while glistening with prestige, is also perilous. Imagine being under constant scrutiny, every decision weighed for its potential to alter the course of history. But beyond this, imagine living with the reality that your position could make you a target, a bullseye for those who disagree, for those who despise. 4 times in the annals of American history, this threat has turned fatal. Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy, leaders of the free world whose lives were brutally cut short. But they weren't the only ones. Others have dodged the bullet, quite literally. Men like Ronald Reagan and Theodore Roosevelt cheated death in the face of assassination attempts. The presidency, it seems, is a more precarious position than most would assume. But fear not, for we're about to delve into the depths of history to revisit these harrowing events. So brace yourself. Let's journey through history and revisit these harrowing events. Our tale begins with the revered Abraham Lincoln, the first American president to be assassinated. Lincoln, a man of profound wisdom and immense courage, led the nation through the tumultuous waters of the Civil War. However, his leadership journey was tragically cut short on an ill-fated night in April of 1865. A prominent actor of the time, John Wilkes Booth, hatched a nefarious plot against the president. Booth, a staunch Confederate sympathizer, held Lincoln responsible for the South's downfall. He infiltrated Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., where Lincoln was watching a play, and shot him at point-blank range. Lincoln's death sent shockwaves across the nation. The man who had strived to unite a divided country was no more, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire. His contributions to the abolition of slavery and the preservation of the Union were monumental, shaping the course of American history. Yet, his untimely demise underscored the perilous nature of the presidency. Lincoln's death marked a dark day in American history, but unfortunately, he was not the last president to meet such a fate. Following Lincoln's tragic end, 2 more presidents fell victim to assassins' bullets in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. James A. Garfield, the 20th President of the United States, was shot on July 2, 1881, by Charles J. Guiteau. A disgruntled office seeker, Guiteau believed he was owed a political appointment for his support of Garfield during the election. When his requests were repeatedly denied, he chose to retaliate in the most extreme way imaginable. Garfield survived the initial attack but was severely wounded. Despite the best efforts of his physicians, he succumbed to infection and other complications more than 2 months later on September 19th. His death was a grim reminder of the vulnerability of even the most powerful individuals. Just 2 decades later, in the early dawn of the 20th century, the nation would face yet another presidential assassination. William McKinley, the 25th president, was shot twice at close range by anarchist Leon Czolgosz during a public reception at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, on September 6, 1901. Like Garfield, McKinley initially survived the attack. However, his wounds proved fatal, and he died just over a week later on September 14th. Czolgosz, who claimed he killed McKinley because he was an enemy of the people, was swiftly tried and executed. These tragic events shook the nation, reinforcing the ever-present dangers associated with the presidency. The assassinations of Garfield and McKinley underscored the harsh reality that those in positions of power are often the targets of those with grievances, real or imagined. As we move forward in our journey through history, we will continue to see how this theme has played out in more recent times. As we move into the modern era, the threats against presidents continued, culminating in the assassination of John F. Kennedy and the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. The year was 1963, a time of change and growth, but also a time of great tragedy. John F. Kennedy, a beacon of hope and the embodiment of American idealism, was cut down in his prime. Kennedy's assassination in Dallas, Texas, on a November day is etched in the memory of a nation. The shocking event sparked an outpouring of grief, and in its wake, a whirlwind of conspiracy theories. Was it a lone gunman or a wider plot? Questions still linger half a century later. Kennedy's death marked a dark chapter in American history, but sadly, it wasn't the last attempt on a sitting president's life. Fast forward to the spring of 1981. Ronald Reagan, the 40th president, charismatic and affable, was just 70 days into his first term. Outside a Washington, D.C. hotel, A would-be assassin's bullet missed the president's heart by mere inches. Reagan's survival was nothing short of miraculous. His quick recovery and the grace with which he handled the aftermath endeared him to many, even among his political opponents. The assassination of Kennedy and the near assassination of Reagan underlined the stark reality that power comes at a steep price. A president, despite being the most powerful person in the world, is also one of the most vulnerable. Their lives, constantly under threat, are a testament to the courage it takes to lead a nation. These events served as a grim reminder of the dangers that come with leading a nation. From Lincoln to Reagan, the role of the president in the United States has always been a target for those seeking to cause chaos and fear. We've journeyed through a dark chapter in American history, spotlighting the tragic ends of Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, and Kennedy. We've also seen how even the most beloved leaders like Reagan faced the grim reality of assassination attempts. In each instance, these acts of violence were not just attacks on individuals, but on the nation as a whole. The presidency, a symbol of democracy and freedom, is also a beacon attracting both admiration and malevolence. The men who held this office knew the risks, yet they stepped forward, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to lead their nation towards a better future. These stories of courage and sacrifice underscore the inherent dangers of this high office and the extraordinary resilience of those who dare to occupy it. The role of the president is one of great power and responsibility, but it also carries significant risks, and this history of American presidents serves as a stark reminder of this fact.